Hello again. The thumbnail to this video, a photograph taken in what is now East London, but was then Essex in 1910, blows two popular myths out of the water at the same time. It was taken at the Ilford Carnival, 4 years before the beginning of the First World War. What's that? A carnival in London 40 years before the arrival of West Indians in the years following the end of the Second World War? But wait, isn't carnival a Caribbean tradition? Of course, the only carnival which most people know about these days is the Notting Hill Carnival. But the tradition of carnivals is actually rooted in medieval Europe rather than the West Indies. The Ilford Carnival was hugely popular and still going strong well into the 1970s. That is one myth, that it was West Indians who introduced the idea of carnivals to this country. The second myth is that displaying and celebrating the English flag, the red cross of St George on the white background, in the streets is something relatively new and associated with football hooligans and right-wing extremists. We are told that this was never a thing in this country, that there's no tradition of hanging the English flag all over the streets like that. This is something which was broadly hinted at, and indeed sometimes said out loud, when the Raise the Colours movement began in August. I saw it written in some quarters that there had never been any tradition in this country of displaying the English flag in this way, that it was associated with the National Front and football fans who sympathised with them. Take a look at that thumbnail again, and you will observe triangular pennants bearing the cross of St George, which are identical with those seen in the streets this summer. Bunting of this kind was popular long ago in England. It was an outward sign of patriotism and love of this country. You will observe that those boys dressed up as crusaders have their shields emblazoned with the red cross. Such a display as this would have brought forth cheers from the crowd lining the route of that carnival in 1910. It was a sight to stir the blood. These days we are invited to feel shame about the Crusades, and the idea that English soldiers went riding to war with the forces of militant Islam is sort of is a bad thing. But I'm damned if I know why we should be ashamed. The world would be in a pitiful state had we not given Johnny Foreigner a bloody nose in the Middle East and taught those heathens a thing or two. We had to repeat the exercise, of course, during the Great War when General Allenby rode into Jerusalem. All over the world, in Africa, in India and the Middle East, in the Far East and the Caribbean, we imposed order on chaos and established civilization where before there was savagery. The world owes us a debt, but I doubt that many people even realize it. Anybody who doesn't like the sight of the English flag, as seen in the thumbnail to this video, might be better advised to leave here and go and live in a country whose flag they do like. I'm sure that we will manage to struggle along admirably without them.